There are a lot of apps out there for RVers to use when traveling across the country. There are apps for private camping like KOA, apps specific to truckers like TruckerPath, and many that have a database of places to stay, listing either camping or hotels, places to eat, where to find water or propane, or even mechanics to work on your motorhome. There's no way to cover all the apps for all people, and I'm not even going to try. Instead, I want to talk about how we plan trips in our Class B van. You have to understand, we plan based on our style of travel, so the way we do things may not fit your needs and desires. For instance, usually I'm with my wife and our dog, and sometimes our daughter may go with us. We tend to stay at an RV park every few days for amenities like long showers and private bathrooms, and need to stop every hour or two to stretch our legs,
getting a little long in the tooth,
or to walk the dog and get her fed or whatever. When we travel, we're less interested in boondocking out in the middle of nowhere and more interested in cultural and historic sites or small towns with local flavor and scenery. Because of this style, we don't tend to have apps for hiking trails or finding BLM locations. That still leaves a lot of apps out there to choose from, but many have essentially the same features, like creating trips and maps from one point to another, or giving you reviews of various locations and things to do there. I can't tell you which app is best for your needs, so I'm just going to talk about the apps we've used that work for us. First up is RV Parky, and as the name implies, it's used to find RV parks, which is what we use it for. I'll just type in Texas and see what we get. Looks like it hit the center of the state near Austin, so let's zoom out and see what's around. There are a lot of places to choose from, so let's do some filtering. Filters allow you to select specific options like what kind of places you want to stay in, from RV parks to casinos, or if you want to overnight at a store or even one of the larger gas and truck stops. So I'll get rid of some stores here, like Walmart, which I'm not a fan of parking at. But I can do more. I can review what amenities I want for an overnight stay, like Wi-Fi, showers, and so on. So I'll make sure we'll have some kind of Wi-Fi options, and since we have a dog, we always need to check off pets allowed, and I think I'll select pet area too. The reason we stay at RV parks are to use their showers and restrooms, so I need to check that off too. Notice how the number of places matching my criteria changes as I zoom in and out. Let's zoom into an area and choose a random site. I haven't stayed here, just using it as an example. You can see what amenities they provide, their various rates, and what others think of the place. There will usually be a link to their website, so you can do more research if you need to and make reservations, or you can call them directly with the link provided. At the top, you can see other options like adding the site to your favorites, or even add images or a review after your stay. We are members of Harvest Hosts, which lists businesses you can overnight at, like craft breweries, farms, and other attractions. There's a separate membership to Boondockers Welcome, where you can park overnight on private properties. But since we don't use this service, I can't really speak about that. So let's type in Florida in the search and see what we get. Apparently lots of sites. If you zoom out a bit, it groups areas with the number of sites in each. Just as with RV Parky, you can limit what kind of sites you want to see in Harvest Hosts. For instance, we don't have a golf membership, another added option if you want it, so I deselect that. You can see there are other options to choose from as well. Note that attractions may be interesting things to visit, like museums, but are oftentimes just church parking lots, so keep that in mind. There are other options you can choose from, like your rig length. Since our Class B is 22 feet, I always select up to 25 feet. Other options include things like same-day booking, and of course pets allowed, which we always choose. Now let's zoom in and pick a place at random. Again, not a place we've stayed, just using it for an example. It has a lot of reviews, gives you information about the place, open hours, some amenities, and how to get there. There's also a calendar so you can see what days are available and schedule a stay. Be aware, scheduling may be limited. Some places only schedule a month or so in advance, while others, like this place, allow 180-day scheduling. If you're planning a trip well in advance, you may not be able to reserve a place until their scheduling window is open. You can also see reviews from previous guests, the location of dump stations if you need one, and other nearby places to stay. Apps aren't the only way to get from one place to another. It can be as simple as searching for places using an online map. You can do a search for a place like Elkhart, Indiana, and zoom in to see what kind of attractions they have. When you select a place, you can find information about it and how to get there. If they have a website, there will be a link so you can get more detailed info. If you decide you want to visit, you can select directions on the left panel and enter your starting point. Let's use Elkhart, Texas. Google Maps will give you route options with distances. I've noticed their times are based on not having to stop or for those that can travel faster. Since we stop quite often for the dog and to stretch our legs, I tend to figure out the time by dividing the miles by 60, which is about the average speed we can go. In this case, it's added a couple of hours to the trip time. And if you get really picky, you can get the exact minutes as well, but who does that? You can zoom in and see what sites are along the way too. And if you find a place you'd be interested in visiting, just click on it and select Add Stop to add it to your trip directions. You can see more sites by selecting Things to Do up at the top of the map, or even search for specific things like campgrounds. If you don't see anything in an area, select Search this area to see if anything pops up. Here I've selected Burns Park RV Park and Campground as an example. It has information and a link to their website. You can always use internet and apps together, which is what I do when I find places on Google Maps that I need more information on. So let's open up RV Parky and look for the Burns RV Park that we saw on Google Maps. Now I can find more information on the park to see if it fits our criteria and if we want to pay their rates. Of course, some people can get carried away when using Google Maps. It has a lot of options and you can save maps to your account if you want to. I have mapped entire trips and created charts with costs, distances from point to point, and even things to see on our way. I know, a little crazy. But I'm never bored wherever I go. I always know what there is to do when I get there. You can find a lot of places to visit using website searches. There are a couple of sites I like a lot, mostly because they show places that are out of the ordinary, and we like that. Atlas Obscura is, as they say on their site, the definitive guide to the world's hidden wonders. They have articles on places to explore all over the world, We don't plan on traveling with our van outside of North America, so I'll limit the search to that. The more you zoom in, the more individual places you'll see. Just select one to find out more about it. We want to travel north and even up to Canada, so this site helps us research interesting places to visit. Another site we like is Roadside America. Here you can find attractions and oddities. If we select Colorado, for example, you can see sites for oddball excursions. You can search a map of the area, zooming in to see specific places and where they're located. Believe it or not, a lot of people travel, and they post their excursions on YouTube. Do a search on RV travel, and the screen just fills up with channels to visit. One of my favorite sites, among many, is Sightseeing Sally. She likes to visit old places and ghost towns, chronicling her journeys on YouTube. So search and see what you can find. One of the easiest ways to find places to visit is just doing a Google search. When you do, type in things to see in and add whatever place you're interested in visiting. In this example, I'm looking at Elkhart, Indiana again. Wonder why I keep looking there. Our Embassy Owners and Wannabes group has just turned 2 years old, and we're waiting for you to join. If you have any interest in Embassy RVs, it's a place to hang out and get to know other wannabes and owners too. There are even ways to get to see an embassy in the wild. So come on by and say hi. The link is in the description below. Be seeing you. Google will bring up a lot of sites to see, and there are usually at least one that says something like best things to do in blah 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 blah. Clicking on that, in this case TripAdvisor, another good site to visit, will give a list of the kind of things you can expect to see in the area. You can limit your search if you want, for instance to museums or nightlife. Is there nightlife in Elkhart? So there you have it. What we do to find interesting places to travel to and how we get there. Sure, there are a lot of other ways to do this, apps by the dozen, but so far, this has worked out pretty well for us. I guess the point is, you need to find the best way to plan your adventures, a way that fits your travel style and feels most comfortable to you. If you have other ways to find great places, let us know in the comments. We're always looking for new ideas and great places to travel to. Be seeing you.